Hey guys, for a little while now I've been looking into ultrawide monitors and I wasn't convinced if sizes of 40 inches and above are actually comfortable to use. I'm sure many of you have had the same question. For that, we've now secured two of the widest monitors from a local Singaporean company, Prism Plus. There will be a video about each one of them, and we're going to start with the latest addition to the ultrawide lineup, the P438. It is a 43.8 inch flat ultrawide monitor featuring IPS panel. Let's see if size does matter. And if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. The first and the most noticeable thing about this monitor is that it is all white. In the box we find monitor itself, white monitor stand, white screws, white cables which include power cable, DisplayPort cable, USB Type-C cable, as well as USB uplink cable. More on that later on. Prism has also included screws for VESA mount mounting and a standard looking remote. But I must say, on display like this, I'm loving the remote. As you can see, I sit slightly back and would hate to move closer to make any adjustments, so the remote makes it very convenient. Now that this unit is all set up, we can have a look around. As mentioned earlier, it is all white, to the detail, even cables and screws, so it certainly looks clean. It features zero bezel, or almost zero bezel design I should say, since there is a black separation line around the screen. I think Prism should have opted out of using white bezels. A black version would create a greater sense of bezel-less experience. On the back, we have a pretty funky RGB strip running all the way through the middle. You can change between 6 colors or go full RGB, 3 different brightness levels in few different presets. While we're at the back, let's check out all the ports. To one side there is USB Type-C, HDMI 2.0 and 1.4 ports, as well as DisplayPort 1.2 and audio out. By the way, it does have onboard speakers, and I'd say they're pretty average for monitor speakers. I would not recommend using them as your main audio source. Pick something up for $40 or $50 and enjoy a much better experience. On the other side, there are 3 USB 3.0 Type A ports for input and single USB 3.0 Type B for uplink to your PC, as well as a standard power connector. You can tell this is a higher tier monitor from Prism Plus, as it has monitor stand with more adjustments than normal. It has height, tilt and swivel adjustments, which is not something that is available on the smaller and cheaper monitors. Display itself is 43.8 inches, which certainly makes it fall into the ultra-wide category. It comes with a 10-bit IPS panel, and according to Prism Plus, it has 125% of sRGB coverage. We tested this using professional equipment and software and found it has 136% coverage of BT709 color space, which is really good. But coverage is not the only thing that matters. For many people, color accuracy is one of the crucial features. Let's see what we got in our testing. Judging by the results, it's okay for a general user. For those who are not familiar with these terms, delta E value refers to the difference between the perfect color accuracy and what is measured. We want this number to be as low as possible. While perfect does not really exist, any color shift under value of 1 is imperceivable. Values between 1 and 3 are noticeable to professionals, 3 and 5 are noticeable to enthusiasts, and 5 and above are noticeable to everyone. In this example, we have an average of under 4 and maximum value of 9.8. With these values, you're fine to play games and enjoy this as a general use screen, but I would recommend against using it for color accurate work. On the other hand, this device completely changes if you have access to Screen Calibrator. If you're a professional who works with color sensitive work, then it's something that you have anyway. Once we have calibrated this display, our average dropped to delta E value of 1. And maximum is now only 2.4, which places it squarely in the professional display bracket. These results are quite unexpected. As a comparison, we took a much more expensive professional grade monitor made for color accurate work, and its average delta E is 0.7 and maximum of 1.2. Something to note though, just because you have a calibrated display today does not mean that it will stay calibrated for a long time, so bear this in mind. For the best results, you should be calibrating it every few weeks. Resolution of this display is a bit of a mixed bag for me. It is 3840 by 1080, making it equivalent to merging two 1080p monitors side by side, without the middle bezel. By today's standards, it's pretty low resolution. However, it does require a much lower performance graphics card to drive it, which for some people might be critical. It also features 120Hz refresh rate with AMD FreeSync support, as well as 1 millisecond moving picture response time or 6 milliseconds gray-to-gray response time. I like that Prism is sharing this information in a technical sheet rather than hiding it away. Last major display feature is combination of HDR 600 and 24-zone local dimming. Normally these two are separate features, but for some reason they are linked in this monitor. Local dimming can only be enabled via enabling HDR on the monitor, as well as enabling it on your operating system. Here are some tests with the first disabled and then enabled. As you can see, there are multiple vertical zones. Do bear in mind that this video is a slightly exaggerated view of the worst case scenario to show the feature in the most obvious way. When it comes to in-game performance, well, this depends. Why don't you judge it for yourself? This is Shadow of a Tomb Raider. Naturally, when recording the screen with a camera, the experience is different than seeing it with your own eyes. So do remember this when we're going through the results. But this gives you a reasonable feel on what to expect. To me, the scenes feel better with HDR disabled, as it gives more moody impression, but overall I see more detail with HDR enabled. This is still pretty subjective and it depends on your taste. Another thing to consider, having a large flat display can result in issues due to the viewing angles. Since this is an IPS display, it doesn't suffer from this and can be viewed pretty much from any angle. But of course, being right in front of it is the best experience. My favorite addition on this monitor is USB 3 hub. This works really well for people who have wireless devices on their desk, with the PC hidden away. This way you can plug in all your dongles for your keyboard, mouse, and even desktop speakers straight into the monitor. This reduces wireless interference for your devices and also allows you to have a single cable running to your PC. Manufacturers should really be doing this as a default feature. We've covered a lot of things about this monitor, and I can say that it is definitely a feature-rich 43-inch beast, but it does have a few caveats. First is the size combined with a flat panel. Curved monitors nowadays are dominating the market, so I was curious to try an ultra-wide flat version. It certainly does look impressive, but I find edges are a little bit too far to have comfortable experience. If you're okay using corners for less important things like monitoring a team chat, stock market, or having a calendar while working in the middle of the screen, then it can be a great compromise and you'll definitely enjoy having so much screen real estate to multitask on. Another thing is color accuracy. Here we have results from 1 out of 1, but the rest of the panel should be very similar. If you use it as is, straight out of factory, it is okay, but it is not amazing. Ideally, you want to have a way to calibrate the display to get the most out of the IPS panel. After calibration, it actually surprised me, proving the price to performance ratio can increase significantly. If you decide to go for it, then there's another important thing to note. You should use DisplayPort cable to ensure you're able to utilize the display to its full potential, which includes 120Hz refresh rate and 10-bit color at the same time. If you use HDMI 2.0, then you can only have one or the other. I hope you found this useful. Don't forget to smash that thumbs up and subscribe for more. We'll see you guys in the next one.